You've been there, right? That moment on a team when a super important task just gets dropped. And when you ask what happened, it's a mess of finger pointing and confusion. Everybody thought somebody else was handling it. It's a classic, frustrating problem. But guess what? It's solvable. In this explainer, we're going to break down a really solid framework to build a culture of accountability. We're talking about turning all that chaos into clear, decisive action.
So, here's our game plan. We're going to kick things off with a little story that might hit a little too close to home. Then, we'll nail down what the accountability problem actually is. After that, we'll dive into a three-part solution, starting with you, then creating a system for your team, and finally, keeping that momentum going. And we'll wrap it all up with a challenge for you.
All right, to really get to the heart of this thing, let's kick it off with a classic story. A little parable about actually getting things done. And trust me, it's a story you've probably lived, even if you've never heard it put quite like this before. Okay, so meet our cast of characters, and I bet you'll recognize them from your own office or maybe your last project. Their names are everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. So the story goes like this. There was a really important job that had to be done, and everybody was just sure that somebody would take care of it. I mean, it seemed like a no-brainer, right?
And look, this wasn't some kind of rocket science. The truth is, anybody on the team could have handled it.
But in the end, nobody did it. The ball was just completely dropped.
Does that sound at all familiar?
And this is where it all goes off the rails. It ended up that everybody blames somebody when nobody did the job that anybody could have done. It's just this perfect, infuriating circle of passing the buck.
That little story, it absolutely nails a core problem in so many organizations. We call it the accountability problem. And the central paradox is so simple but so powerful. When everyone is responsible, well, no one is responsible.
So let's put a clear definition on it. The accountability problem is basically a culture where a lack of clear ownership means important stuff just falls through the cracks. And look, it's usually not about bad people or bad intentions, it's about a broken system. So the real question is, how do we fix it?
Well, the fix starts with you. Yep, it begins by looking in the mirror. You simply can't build an accountable team if you're not an accountable leader yourself. This is the bedrock, the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about.
It really boils down to three key things. First, you've got to be the role model. Hold yourself to the exact same standard you expect from everyone else. Second, communicate clearly, like crystal clearly. Never ever assume people know what you want. Spell it out. And third, set the standard. Define what great looks like with real, measurable goals and timelines so everyone knows exactly what they're aiming for.
Okay, so once you've got that personal foundation locked in, it's time to build the actual framework for your team. This is where we go from just your actions to creating a whole system where accountability can really flourish.
And this framework has three parts too. Number one, get your team to buy in. You do that by making the vision exciting, something they want to be a part of. People need to be motivated. Number two, set up regular check-ins. Seriously, these are your secret weapon against procrastination. They keep everybody on track. And finally, number three, provide support and training. You can't just ask people to succeed and then walk away. You have to give them the tools and the knowledge they need to actually win.
All right, so you've set the standard, you've built the system. Now for the final, crucial piece of the puzzle, creating a culture that actually keeps this whole thing going. This is how you make accountability the default setting, not something you have to constantly fight for. And this takes a really fundamental shift in your culture. You have to move your team away from being just problem reporters and turn them into problem solvers. The new rule of the road is simple. If you're going to bring up a problem, you better be bringing a potential solution along with it.
There are two final habits that really lock all of this in place. First, you've got to build a culture of candor. That means creating a space where people feel safe enough to tell the truth, even when it's tough to hear. And second, you have to reinforce the right behaviors. Praise great work publicly and be really specific about it. But when things go wrong, address those shortfalls privately and constructively.
So, we've walked through the problem and we've laid out a pretty clear three-part solution. But now, it all comes down to you. See, this is about way more than just managing tasks. This is about you becoming the architect of an entirely better culture. Because at the end of the day, you have a choice. You can let that old story of everybody, somebody, and nobody continue to define your team, or you can be the leader who steps up, takes responsibility, and builds something you can truly be proud of. And that really brings us to the final question, the one that only you can answer. When you look at your team, when you look at the challenges ahead of you, who are you going to choose to be?